go, go, go,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
fucking thing,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
fucking thing,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
fucking thing,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
fucking thing,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
fucking thing,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
fucking thing,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
fucking thing,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
fucking thing,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
fucking thing,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
fucking thing,
do it live,
fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fucking thing sucks. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fucking thing sucks. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fucking thing sucks. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fucking thing sucks. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fucking thing sucks. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fucking thing sucks. What is? I don't know what that means. What is? I don't know what that means. What is? I don't know what that means. Fucking thing sucks. What is? I don't know what that means. What is? I don't know what that means. What is? I don't know what that means. Fucking thing sucks. Go, 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 go. What is go? What is go? What does that mean? Go. What is go? What is go? What does that mean? Go. What does that mean? Go, 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 go. I can't do it. Go. What is go? What is go? What does that mean? Go. What is go? What is go? What does that mean? Go. What does that mean? Go, 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 go. I can't do it. Go. What is go? What is go? What does that mean? Go. What is go? What is go? What does that mean? Go. What does that mean? Go, 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 go. I can't do it. Go, 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 go.
do it live,
Go, go, go,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
fucking thing,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
fucking thing,
do it live,
what is go? What is go? What does that mean?
do it live,
What is go? What does that mean?
do it live,
What does that mean? Go, go,
do it live,
fucking thing,
do it
can't do
live,
it. What is go? What is go? What does that mean?
do it live,
What is go? What is go? What does that mean?
do it live,
What does that mean? Go, go,
do it live,
fucking thing,
do it
can't do
live,
it.
do it live, do it live, do it live,
Fucking thing,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it
go,
live,
go, go, go,
do it
go,
live,
go, go, go,
do it
go,
live,
fucking thing,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it
go,
live,
go, go, go,
do it
go,
live,
go, go, go,
do it
go,
live,
fucking thing,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it
go,
live,
go, go, go,
do it
go,
live,
fucking thing,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it
go,
live,
fucking thing,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it
go,
live,
fucking thing,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it
go,
live,
fucking thing,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it
go,
live,
fucking thing,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it
go,
live,
fucking thing,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it
go,
live,
fucking thing,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it live,
go, go, go,
do it
go,
live,
fucking thing,
do it live,
fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fucking thing sucks. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fucking thing sucks. Sucks. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fucking thing sucks. Sucks. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fucking thing sucks. Sucks. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fuck it. What is? I don't know what that means. Fucking thing.
It's me, Sunny Starblast, and this is the Dope Dive Live. I'm joined by my pals, King Crazy and Dracon. And today... Oh, sorry, go ahead. Do your intros.
Hi.
Good intro.
Hello.
Today we're going to talk about overused or played out tropes in video games. I guess this will be part of a series in overused tropes. So, boom. I guess we can start out by talking about what exactly a trope is.
That's like guidelines, but not really. For
Teach
writing
me,
a story.
Sensei Sunny. What is a trope?
A trope is well, I'm going to use an actual definition. It's the use of figurative language or word over phrase in literature. So, seeing as games are more of a visual thing, it is something that is a reoccurring theme that you'll see in either one or more games in a series or in just a genre. So, I guess I'll give the example of an overused trope right now. Since I like RPGs a whole lot, one that kind of ticks me off is that the protagonist's hometown always gets destroyed in one way or the other.
Say what?
Almost always. And, we see this in like 90% of the Dragon Quest games and Final Fantasy VII.
Well, did it also happen in 6? Oh, I'm mistaken. It's 6.
And 10.
10, yes, technically. 6, definitely, because sorta, kinda. There are multiple protagonists, so...
There are multiple protagonists in 6. Yes, I agree with you, because one of them, spoilers for anyone who hasn't played 6 yet, gets their entire tongue wiped out by poison, thanks to good old Kefka.
Well, it was therefore for being poisonable. Anyway.
Wow.
What other examples? Okay, so essentially, in almost every Dragon Quest, I've got to put the story out there. Let's see. I'm going to skip the first 3 because those are their own insulated thing, and they're kind of not really representative of that trope, as far as I remember. But in 4, the actual protagonist, even though there are multiple protagonists in that one as well, there is a chosen one, which is a trope we'll be going to after this.
At length.
And for the chosen protagonist of that, and technically they're all the chosen ones, the biggest protagonist, who barely gets any story time, gets his whole town destroyed because monsters are looking for him, because he or she is the one who will defeat the demon lord, king, whatever.
So in this case, this is the most common scenario of self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
The villain decides that they wanted to destroy the hero before the hero can become powerful.
Yes.
Inadvertently creating the hero in the process that destroys him. It is a self-fulfilling prophecy.
All the time.
Yep.
Dragon Quest V actually skips this trope But it has another trope that I will also talk about. Dragon Quest Six. Which one was that? Oh, I didn't even remember. That skips it too. Dragon Quest Seven. Instead of the protagonist's hometown being destroyed, the whole world is destroyed, and he puts it back together. Dragon Quest 8 also skips it. Wait, yeah, it skips it technically.
And I mean, I can look at games outside of Dragon Quest that has this Xenogears. Or Xenogears, my mistake, for anyone who's ever played that. No, is it Xenogears or Saga? Which was the first one?
I don't know. I've never played them. So
okay,
Xenogears was first.
Xenogears was first, right? So the protagonist in that gets his village burnt down by fire. It does happen.
That is not what happened, and you know it, sir.
Okay. I don't want to spoil too much for people who haven't played it.
If we're going to talk about tropes, we are going to be venturing into spoiler territory, so just mention big spoiler now and then.
Fine. I'll leave it to King Crazy. Explain what it actually happens.
Don't tell us the whole story. Just tell us what happens to the hometown.
Fine. Your character goes evil Ryu and destroys everything with his new giant robot.
Okay.
Yeah. And just one tiny detail just to make it simpler for the people watching. Tropes are like, it's like you're cooking and you have all these ingredients. Like, a part of a story is like let's say characters are like spices, but how you like separate those spices, like pepper or salt or whatever, that's the trope. It's like, here's your chosen one, here's your lancer, here's your comedic relief. Those are tropes. Like the details and how you use them. That doesn't sound simple at all. Never mind.
It's perfectly fine. But yes, so yes, there are games outside where villages do burn down, cities get burned down. There's all and then it doesn't even have to be the person's hometown. It could simply be where the person is at the start of the game that gets destroyed. An example of that is Xenosaga, where you start off on this
the ship, the Woglinde.
And it literally gets attacked by Gnosis, which are the antagonists of the Xenosaga universe. And
asshole aliens.
Literally, you are one of the very few people that actually escape that whole place getting destroyed.
Yeah.
So that's how this trope expands. So there is the self-defined trope, which is that the starter village gets destroyed. Then they have the slight takes on these where it's a very similar concept where the starter location gets destroyed. And those things do happen.
Right, but it does serve to set up, let's say, your starter characters and also the big threat.
Yes.
Like, it's like up to that point, you hear about the Gnosis, you don't know what they are until you see them and what they can do and what you cannot do to them. And it's like, oh yeah, these things are a whole problem.
Yeah, okay, so for anyone who has never played Xenosaga, and this is not really a spoiler because you learn about this in like the first very short part of the game, Gnosis are these alien-like creatures that exist in a different phase of reality where
imaginary space.
You can't touch them, but they can touch you and kill you.
Turning you into salt. They biblically kill you.
Yeah, they biblically kill you. And so basically
stupid.
And so in order to fight them, they have to be exposed to the Hindenburg effect, is what they call it?
Hindenburg.
Hilbert. Some H name effect is what they call it.
Hilbert. 2 syllables. Hilbert.
Hilbert effect. There we go. And that basically makes them tangible, and you're able to actually fight and kill them.
Right. It's like they're halfway between universes, and the Hilbert effect pulls them the rest of the way, so you can actually hurt them.
Yeah.
And you see people throw everything at these things. and they do nothing.
Yeah.
Even that one, there are these things. They're called realians. They're like build-a-humans, basically. And this one asshole, to prove a point about life and order and blah blah blah, sends a bunch of them to suicide bomb. He's like, ha 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 ha. Oh shit, it didn't work. Like, it didn't work at all. He's like, fuck, everybody out, everybody run. And he gets his ass. It is terrible. A whole scene showing what kind of person he is, and it's just flipped like, oh fuck, run.
Yeah. So, but that's just a little bit of information as to what the antagonists of that game, or the antagonist creatures of that game are. But yes, going back to your point, Sonny, yes, there are a lot of games that use this trope, and it's very prevalent in RPGs, especially, to use this trope. If you're looking at a specific genre,
Right? Because you have to kick things off. They have to have a reason that they can't just go home.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I'll take the second trope for this one. This is probably one of the most overused tropes in all of video games, and this really only pertains to if they are mentioned. The missing / killed parents.
Oh yeah.
There
Yeah.
are so many games under the sun where either one or more parents are either missing, killed, or in the unlikely event the villain.
Quote unquote unlikely. Sure.
In most cases than others, they're most likely either missing or killed.
Actually, Dragon, before you go into that, just to really quickly point this out, Sora from Kingdom Hearts has parents who are alive and at home and are not involved in any way and are not evil, and they're just there and just parents with jobs, and that was just so weird when I found out.
How could you not find out? Because in the first Kingdom Hearts, right before Sora leaves the island, big spoilers, not really even big spoilers, his mother calls him from wherever
His
she
totally
is.
living mother and his dad who was at work. It's like,
his mother says, Sora, dinner's ready, or something like that. Sora's like, I'm going to ignore her, and I'm going to go sail to the island, and then go on a journey where I never see my parents for the next 2 years. Do you know how freaked out Sora's parents must be that their son is missing?
But they get to be freaked out because they're alive and not evil or involved in any way.
Yeah.
They exist still, and it's weird.
And it stands to reason that Riku has parents too. And Kairi has a grandmother who has shown up in the series. We know her because she shows up in Birth by Sleep. Spoilers. But, these 3 children basically disappear from an island from the ages of, 14 to 16? And I guess Riku's a year older than them, so 15 to 17. So there are 3 children missing, and they have friends their age from the Final Fantasy universe, but it doesn't matter. It's like Waka, Tidus, and Selphie.
Never seen again.
We see Selphie in Kingdom Hearts 2.
Right.
So to bring this trope full circle, I'm going to give you the game that personifies this trope perfectly.
Okay.
Chrono Cross. Because Chrono Cross is one of those games where you have a missing or killed parents and a villain all in one game.
Weren't they in an orphanage?
No. The protagonist, Surge, because you're talking about Kid. Kid was in the orphanage. Surge grew up where his father is missing because you find out that in the past, the father took the son after he got attacked by a panther to this special he went to the Dead Sea, which is this area in the game, accidentally got into this location called Chronopolis, which was undergoing a power outage, so he was able to get through the security, met with the Avatar Fate, who A, healed the kid, and B, corrupted the father into turning him into the villain of the series.
Yeah. Actually, Drekon, uh, just to be sure, when you say missing parents trope, do you mean like the parents are never seen, or the parents are gone at the beginning but they could show up later?
But no, I mean missing as in they're gone. Like they've been mentioned that they exist, but you've never seen them.
Okay, they've been mentioned. Okay,
So
But,
in the
but
case, both the father was mentioned, he was never seen, and you never find out that he was the father until near the end of the series. The mother, eventually dies off screen at the well, actually no, in the parallel world. Spoilers: the mother dies when the son, when his parallel version died. So technically, his parallel world, mother is also dead.
because honestly, to add on to that, I was gonna say that like another one, Final Fantasy X, Jacked.
Yes, Tidus, because or Tidus, how you want to pronounce his name?
It's
Because
Titus. It's
because
Titus actually, but
oh,
yes.
I
no, no,
agree
no,
with you.
no.
Because
It's
sorry, go ahead.
whatever. I don't know because no, because he was missing, but and then Titus's mother died of like sadness or something, and
She died
then
in grief.
Yeah,
yeah,
she pulled a
and
Padme.
but then here's Orin like, hey, that giant monster thing that's terrorized this world for like 1,000 years. Yeah, that's your dad.
Yeah.
What? And then that actually ties into the big problem of the story. Hey, that final layout that this whole journey was for. You know, your big, like the big Excalibur that you were, really like grinding for. Yeah, you have to sacrifice one of your partners for that. And that's what Jack did. That's how all this is happening. So yeah, you have to really. So okay, this is like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's punch a hole in the monster and just dive in. And everyone's like, yeah.
Except for Waka, the magnificent racist.
Not anymore. He's not. But anyway,
It's true. Nobody
when,
nobody thinks about it, but yeah, go on.
no, but they hop in, and then turns out it's like the TARDIS is just bigger on the inside. Thank goodness, or else that'd be complicated. But
So
anyway,
wait. I just realized. So they basically reused Chrono Trigger in a sense then, because you literally when you fight Lavos, you literally beat the external, go inside of it to beat the internal.
Yeah, pretty much.
was the internal the dad?
No. Okay, well,
Then
technically,
no.
yes.
Haha.
Technically, yes.
No, it wasn't.
Hold on. Let me rephrase. Technically, yes, because Lavos is the entire reason humanity actually becomes the dominant species of that world. So, technically, it's the progenitor that ensured humanity survived and became the dominant species.
Didn't bang your mom.
It gave you more magic.
That's true.
Doesn't count.
It
It's
did.
totally different.
It
So
gave the
Jack
means,
is Tia's father,
but
and they
Jack
have to go in there,
technically isn't
beat him.
the villain. We all know that the real villain is Yevon.
Which N2 loves to ignore
So
because
okay.
reasons.
So I think in that case, what do we call it? Sin is more of a natural calamity.
Yeah, it's an
It's
unnatural
like
calamity. Okay, so
it,
I'll explain.
it,
Oh, go
it's
ahead.
like Lavos, natural calamity. Understood.
So basically, Yevon was actually a summoner from Xanarkin. This is massive spoilers for the whole Final Fantasy X and X-2 duology. So if
I'm
you
pretty sure
don't,
we already talked about it on a previous podcast,
yeah,
so I
yeah,
think we're good.
okay, well,
10,
whatever.
3.5, you're not alone.
Still, different people could be listening, so whatever. So Jack was, of course, someone who suffered from that. But anyway, Yevon was a summoner and in Xanarkin, and Xanarkin was at war with Bavel, another place, which eventually becomes the holy center of the whole world called Spira. Anyway, while they're having this war, Bavel's using Machina machines, and Xanarkin uses summoners and machines. And Yevon was like, you know what? I'm tired of this. I'm going to sacrifice every single person in Xanarkand except for my daughter and her husband and I'm going to use their bodies to summon a massive creature to end this war. And that's what he did.
I don't think it was like a sacrifice. I think they were like willing participants.
Yeah, it's still a sacrifice. I didn't say they were unwilling sacrifices.
Oh, okay.
Like, he's like, I'm going to sacrifice a bunch of people. I'm going to summon a giant monster and kill everyone. And he did. And the giant monster, I think he sacrificed himself. I think he sacrificed himself too.
Yes.
Because he became essentially the core of sin. And
yeah.
So his daughter, Unaleska, was the first person to defeat sin. And she did this by sacrificing her husband to summon a creature to kill sin. And then Daddy's spirit decided to go into the husband and make him the new sin, and it just became a cycle.
No.
Listen, come on, dude.
That's what happened.
It's really what happened. So, and then it just became a cycle until it got to Yuna's father and Jecht and Auron. And I'm going to spoil Final Fantasy X because at this point I don't care. Vraska uses Jecht for the final summoning. Jecht becomes a giant yeti with a sword that comes out of his chest, and he slashes.
He's not a yeti.
Listen, that's what he looked like to me. So he takes the sword out of his chest and he slashes Sin. Sin's cut in half. Yevon goes into Jecht, and Jecht is now Sin. And Auron gets really mad and goes and attacks Unaleska, and Unaleska breaks his neck or something, or mortally wounds him, and he's like, hey, Kimahri, there's a little girl over there in Bavel, so take her to Besaid and let a racist and fan service McGee raise her, and you be there too. And then I'm gonna go to Zanarkand and I'm gonna raise best friend's son, and then my best friend's gonna come and carry us over to Spira, and then we're gonna end this cycle once and for all. And Auron dies. And he comes back because nobody sent him. So now we're on a quest and blah, 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 and they kill Sin for good.
And I think we can skip all this because this is just nonsense at this point.
It's true.
Like, it sounds weird when you say it like this.
That's why I'm doing it like this. But yeah, so essentially, Jecht isn't necessarily the villain of the story. All of the convoluted talking I just did was just to say that Jecht is actually the hero of the story. He's still a missing parent.
Yeah.
He still had most of his reason throughout the story. Like, there are points where he couldn't control himself and points where he could control himself. Supposedly.
If you know what? I think the missing whatever trope happens in, like, well, we know any other stories where the protagonist is just an orphan?
Orphan?
Just it's like Ree from Street Fighter. Like, oh, he just happened to be a kid that just happened to end up on the doorstep of a martial arts master, and yeah, that's just Street Fighter.
Yeah, I don't want to go into Street Fighter because Street Fighter is really weird.
I don't want to do that either, but it's just who Ryu is. He just showed up.
So I know this was about the missing parent and the fact that they've been mentioned in the story at some point, but I also wanted to go over just the fact that a lot of protagonists either have one parent or no parents.
Pokemon.
That's one of them. I mean, Chrono Trigger does it too, because Chrono only has, like,
the mom. Yep. The dad is never seen or heard from, ever.
No mention of them either. Even Luca lost her mom at some point, right? Oh wait, no, never mind.
The mom lost the ability to use her legs, and then you can go back in the past and change that for when the mom is able to walk again.
Yes, this is very important. Actually, I believe this is important to, like, for growing a forest in a desert. Like that.
No. This was after the forest. So after the forest grows, a portal appears, that allows Luca to go back to the time before her mom lost her legs and able to change history. Doing so allows the mom to be able to walk again. And it just basically symbolizes the god of the universe of Chrono Trigger, where these things seem to be more predestined than people expect. That there is something out there, whether it's like the will of Gaia or whatever you want to call it, that gives these type of little things where it's like, okay, they've worked hard to try and put humanity and the world in the right path. Let's give them a little bit of something. And this was Luca's gift for like everyone else got something. Like Robo got his future changed to good. Chrono and Marley got married. Frog curse was removed and he was be able to become a human again. This was
Yeah.
Luca's gift. She was able to have her mother walk again. The only person who technically didn't have a gift, but kind of at the same time doesn't need one because he's all powerful, is Magus.
Yeah.
So that's really how I put that, is that it happened because everyone had to have something as a beneficial ending for them, and then Chrono Cross ruined the happy ending for everyone.
That's why I didn't play it.
Oh man, let's see. Spoilers for anyone whoever's gonna play Chrono Cross here. Chrono, Marley, and Luca are all killed by the Poor Empire. None of them exist. They all dead. Robo gets turned into Prometheus, which is the backup circuit for Faith, and gets deleted, so he never gets to do anything. Magus gets I wouldn't say retconned, but he gets removed out of the game because of time constraints. So the person named Gal in that game was supposed to be Magus, but it never really showed up, so they never put him in the game. And Frog, he's the only one who had his happy end. He lived his full life until he died, whatever, in 600 AD.
Nice. I feel like people are happy with Frog just being.
Of course. I mean, the dude literally suffered where his best friend mentor gets killed. He gets cursed to be the form of a frog. Someone impersonates him to be the hero. And then when he finally gets back the sword and everything, he has to go on a quest to save the world. Then he finds out that his dead friend becomes an angry ghost that he has to defeat to put his soul to rest. Yeah, Frog has lived a very, very, very troublesome
Dramatic life.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a short talk about Chrono Trigger.
Okay, I will say this right now for anyone who's never played that game, play it. It is literally one of the best RPGs ever created.
It was also made by Square Enix. It was Squaresoft when it was made.
So made by Squaresoft. Let's not say Square Enix.
I know, but the remake was done when they had merged.
Yeah, and the remakes, the extra dungeons, just makes the game worse. That's not even talk about that. The only reason the extra dungeons are in, well, the extra ending is in there is to tie the game to Chrono Cross, and no one wants the game to be tied to Chrono Cross. So it's like, why do this to us?
I noticed that a lot of the things we're talking about are just basically JRPGs.
Well, yes, okay.
They're
so
the most story-intensive things. I'm not gonna lie.
Are the most story-intensive things, but I can do it. Well, actually, no. Let me pass on the King Crazy to push a trope first before I take a second one. King, what's your trope? Hello?
No, I'm here. Like, honestly, just get out of the way. Chosen One.
Okay.
You see it everywhere.
Yes.
Like, you see it everywhere, and it's like, when it's done properly, or at least it's given a spin, then it can be good. But it's like, oh yeah, you are literally like the one and only person that can do this thing. Get out there and be somebody.
Yep. I completely agree with you. That this trope is a very, very well used one. And to take this from an RPG perspective into other mediums, Halo 1. Master Chief was the chosen, the man to bring balance to the Halo.
You were about to say the Force.
It's like at first I thought he was just like a soldier, but like a really, really good soldier. No, because it was Halo 4. Like I don't know if he was already chosen, but he apparently gets chosen again to take out this thing called the Didact, which, by the way, freaking easy. It's like it's a cutscene. He takes him out. It's that, but he gets empowered or whatever, and it's like, okay, you are literally the one guy who can take this guy out in a cutscene. It's not even him that does it.
Yep.
He just has a really good. He has like, what's her name, and a grenade.
And here's the easiest way to describe how Master Chief is the chosen one of the Halo franchise. This is one soldier, super soldier, who was enhanced. Almost all the other super soldiers of his time are dead, with a few exceptions. He crash lands on this Halo, and he and a few human stragglers, which he mostly rescues most of the time, or they just bandwagon with him, but he does all the work.
It's true. It's true.
He literally stops the Covenant, which was the biggest threat. Well, stops Covenant from being able to take over the Halo, which is the biggest threat that humanity has faced so far. Try to stop the Flood, which is the biggest threat of the entire universe. Of course, later games he does eventually stop the Flood threat, but this is the first one we're talking about here. So he tries to stop the Flood threat, and then he also gets introduced to Guilty Spark, which sets up for Forerunner stuff.
Pretty much. Let's see. Actually, pretty much anything by Tetsuya Nomura kind of lives off this trope. And we're not gonna go to Kingdom Hearts yet. Let's talk about the world ends with you. All right. So the main protagonist of the first one, how's his name? Yes, he is literally chosen by basically God, shot dead by him because he is like, out of everybody who can use pins, he's just the best for no reason at all. And it's like the only issue is that he's not dead yet. So God comes down, shoots him dead, takes away his memory, and throws him into a death game so that he can hopefully come back to life, but also win the game on God's behalf. Because God wants to blow up Shibuya, a city in Japan. So he finds all this out, and along the way, he meets his friends who are all just surprised at how good he is at this whole thing. And then he eventually finds out what happened, meets God again, who turns out one of his friends, and God's like, "Lol, you fool! Hey, want to play another game?" It's like, this kid is wrecked by this shit, and then God shoots him again, but it shoots him back to life until he gets shot again in the not sequel. Like, it's like the in between. He just gets
the one that came out on Switch.
Yes, he just gets shot again, and then the entire sequel is just everybody like, "Oh my god, we have to find Neku. Where's Neku? Neku this, Neku that," and it's like the guy you think that it is Neku. No, it ain't him. You could look at him directly and know that's not him, but sure, whatever. And then Neku actually shows up, and it's like the second coming of Jesus. It's like, yes, he's here. Neku is here. Meanwhile, and the protagonist of the second one, it's like he was picked at random. No joke. It's like the main bad guy just went ahead, pulled names out of a bug, and was like, that kid, and that's it. Which, by the way, the second game, I don't know how it's getting all these good reviews. I thought it sucked balls, but whatever. Everybody's just going apeshit over Neku, and yeah, because Neku's just this big ridiculous powerhouse who's gonna just save everyone.
I see.
Yeah, and I guess we'll go into Kingdom Hearts. How Sora's just again Jesus, just saving everybody regardless of anybody's skill set. Just the Kingdom Hearts 3 did it worse because you had everybody literally train for this Keyblade War, and then he will show up and systematically save everyone because they can't pull their own weight.
So I want to go into the whole Sora being the chosen one thing, because before we get to 3, like,
Yeah,
at the beginning, technically the Keyblade was Riku's. Technically.
right.
But Riku's heart was too dark or some stupid crap like that. And we find out eventually it culminates in a reunion in Hollow Bastion. And Sora and Riku are like, hey, what's up? And Riku's like, oh, by the way, that Keyblade is actually mine. So, yoink. And his traitorous companions, Donald and Goofy, decide to just up and leave him. And the realest party member you ever gonna get is Beast. He's like, it don't matter. I don't really care what you gotta do, but you need help and I'll hang out with you because you're a kid. Just let me find my girlfriend and I'll beat up anything that gets in your way. So Riku's technically the chosen one, but his heart was invaded by Ansem at some point. And Riku's easily manipulated by other evil people. And you find out that it's okay to have darkness in your heart because there's nothing wrong with being a little emo. But yeah, chosen ones. There are multiple chosen people. And we find out in Birth by Sleep there were like a bunch of Keyblade users.
Mm-hmm.
And the most chosen one was Aqua, who is still literally the only living Keyblade master.
Technically, Riku's a Keyblade master, but also technically he isn't because, well, you saw what happened.
Oh, right, I forgot the 3D thing. You're supposed to take the Mark of Mastery exam, right?
Yes, and Riku passed and became a full-fledged Keyblade master.
So Riku's
except
a Keyblade master.
He still sucked after that.
Listen.
What are the point of any of them?
Master, like, I like how basically Sora is Naruto. If you think about it. Yeah, think about it.
That's worse.
Yeah, it is worse. It's just as bad, actually. Naruto never got past his the lowest level of ninja until, I guess, later on in the series. I don't remember. And Sora never became a Keyblade master, but still, he's out there saving everybody's life. The whole team got bodied by a suit of armor and got saved by, of all people, Donald freaking Duck.
Doing the Super Kamehameha.
I want to talk about that. It's not a trope. It's just Donald using literally the strongest magic in the whole Final Fantasy universe at the cost of his life, but still.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't dead. He was just really messed up. But
the implication was that it was going to kill him. Because Goofy was like, Donald, no! And he did it anyway, and then he kind of like passed out. And then Mickey got
But this is
bad.
Disney. Disney characters never die.
Gaston, Jafar, Frollo.
Those are villains, not protagonists.
Bambi's mom.
Ooh.
Boom! Wait, not boom.
That's the trope of dead parents.
It was a boom. It was literally a boom, a loud boom, and she died. That she was delicious. Because that's what people hunt deer for. I'm a terrible person, I don't care. But yeah, protagonists, like main character protagonists, don't. Disney.
Yeah, it's like I don't know if that's
unless your name is Chrono, then you actually do die, and then people have to bring a doll to substitute you before you actually die to save your life.
Wait, what?
Oh, Chrono Trigger.
Okay, I said Disney though.
Disney. My bad. Well, technically Sora. I mean, Sora was supposed to be dead. He became a Heartless. He plot armored his way to keeping his mind while being a Heartless.
Yes, he used his girlfriend.
It's kind of like how Shiro survived in Fate Stay Night.
Talking about
Like
something I didn't play.
way at the end.
Shiro survived in Fate Stay Night for two reasons. One was a Deus Ex Machina because he literally had the sheath of Excalibur inside of him, which apparently
No. After that.
And
No.
then okay, so which route are we talking here?
Final route. Heaven's
Heaven's
Feel.
Feel. He actually does die. His current body is a doll that was created by the doll master in Karen no Kyokai. She created a doll body for him, and his soul is basically tethered to that doll. But technically, his physical body is gone. He doesn't have a physical body anymore.
Right. Isn't that exactly what you're talking about?
Yeah, but let's put it this way: in this universe where people survive by other means, like you can become a true ancestor or a dead apostle and survive getting killed multiple times, looking at you, Wallachia, or even like Roa and stuff. You literally have people who can defy death pretty damn easily in the Fate universe. So I don't really count him being tied to a doll body as saying like he escaped everything. I mean, you literally have villains who just go like, "Oh yeah, you killed me this time. I'll be back in like 20 years."
Pretty much. By the way, if you want to hear more about how we feel about Fate Stay Night, check out our previous episode. It's 5 hours, but you'll know everything.
You won't, but you'll know enough.
You'll know enough, and you'll get to hear me just listen, because I know nothing about Fate Stay Night except that. Anyway.
Do you want us to tell you again?
No, I will end the podcast forever. What trope were we talking about? The Chosen One?
Yes. Okay, and actually, that kind of loops into another. Like, I don't know if it is a trope, but pretty much how your friends are kind of useless without you. Because
what do you mean, like in cutscenes or like during gameplay?
Apparently, in general, because again, Sora's friends. Like it's like, okay, you're supposed to be 13 darknesses, 7 guardians of light. They had more lights than they actually were supposed to have, and they were still losing.
So I'm going to explain why. Have you ever heard the term "the power of friendship"?
No.
I'm going to take your silence as
to
a
me.
yes. Well, the power of friendship is essentially when the protagonist, the main character, gains all of his power through friends. And by that I mean all of his friends are weak, but their love for him makes him strong. But since all of these friends are weak and the main character is so powerful, that means he's essentially draining all of their power. This is my theory, but So it makes sense why everybody's weak, except for Mickey for some reason. Kingdom Hearts 2, Mickey is freaking yoked. He comes in out of nowhere when Sora's dead and is like, that's it. I'm gonna beat up Zaldin, because that's where I got Mickey the most. Or Cerberus, because that's also a place where I got Mickey. And then he'll just start wailing on the enemy, and then he's like, okay, well, I'm tired of beating up this boss for you, so I'm gonna revive you, Sora. Boom. But in Kingdom Hearts 3, he gets bodied by that suit of armor for some reason. And then a tornado just kills everyone. A tornado, heartless NATO? Shad NATO?
The heartless, the demon cyclone, as they call it. But yeah, it's like he got beaten by friggin' the demon tide in the world of darkness, and it's like the whole game was saying, "Oh, Sora, you can't go back here. You don't have a defense against darkness." Blah blah blah. But he had to, because to save them, because they couldn't pull it off.
Yep.
It's like, what was the point of any of this? He could have gotten her out from like the beginning. This is actually legitimately stupid.
And why couldn't Aqua resist all of that? Aqua,
because she's not the chosen one.
Listen, Aqua is the strongest Keyblade master there. I don't care what anybody says.
But she's not the chosen one.
Aqua spent 10 years in the world of darkness. Aqua is 29 years old.
But she ain't chosen. She's not chosen. She's the chosen one.
That's what bothers me. Chosen One is such a crappy trope. And you know, one Chosen One we haven't mentioned throughout this whole time, even though literally a picture of the Chosen One right here, it's Link. I know that there are multiple Links, and they are all different people with somewhat different personalities, especially in Breath of the Wild, which isn't really a real Zelda game, but I'm not going to get into that. Link essentially is just either a kid or teenager who is thrust into the world and is told, hey, go get a sword from a pedestal out in the woods or in a temple. And go kill this angry green man or giant pig or whatever
Or
else
both.
is it. Or something else. Because Ganon is not in every single game. So, yeah. But no. Like, I know the first Legend of Zelda, I think it's the first Legend of Zelda, where his dad goes to the castle and you find him and he dies or something like that. I'm like, holy crap.
Link has no father. He just wakes up in random spots where he fell asleep.
Honestly, in a lot of them, Link does have parents. In okay, the one of the most well-known Zelda games before Breath of the Wild was uh the Ocarina of Time. So Link had parents. His mother fled from I think Hyrule, the town, and died right outside of the the Kokiri Forest or whatever they're called. The little elf people in the forest, elves. So I guess one of them took him in, and the Great Deku Tree was all like, "Hey, I'm gonna raise you, kid." So Great Deku Tree is Link's father now, and then his father dies. Here we go. Hey, missing or dead parents. Anyway,
The Great Yakuchi raised a child soldier.
yeah, Great Deku Tree technically did raise a child soldier, but at the same time, I think the tree knew that Link was the hero, the chosen hero of that time, and
Honestly, no, go ahead.
yeah, and he just like said, "Hey, go seek Zelda because she's important." And I understand. Technically, Zelda is also a chosen one, and so is Ganondorf. They've all been chosen by the Triforce.
They followed the cycle of all three of them always having something to do with each other. I think the only one that probably didn't have it was probably like Skyward Sword, whatever that cell shaded one was called.
Skyward Sword is a prequel, but only because Skyward Sword is the first Zelda game, and Ganondorf didn't exist in that time. At that time, so Ganondorf's actual chronological debut was in Ocarina of Time. He was the first Gerudo man to be born, and he decided, I'm going to be a tyrant and go for all of the power and murder the king and take over the world. And he did in a timeline. And that is where the cycle started, where the timelines are split, and he always is the inheritor of the Triforce of Power because he hasn't actually died in one timeline. There are other timelines in which he's died, and where he just doesn't exist, or is arrested and executed, or entrapped in something, or whatever. But
Or it's just a natural calamity.
yeah, but I think Jesus. But I think that in general, Ganondorf is a chosen one. Zelda is also a chosen one, and Link is a chosen one. Ganon's the chosen villain. Zelda is the chosen support slash heroine, and Link is the chosen hero.
Sorry, I'll be right back. Give me 5 minutes.
So yeah, as far as chosen ones go, there isn't specifically a single chosen one in the universe because in the Legend of Zelda universe, because Link is either a reincarnation or just a completely different. Well, yeah, it has to be. It's either a reincarnation or just some kid that's chosen. And they slap a green tunic on him, and he goes out and he either kills the giant green man again or whatever other threat there is, or he splits into four of himself and kills that threat. By the way, A Link to the Past link is the strongest link. Don't at me. Boom.
Okay.
King Crazy. What other? Well, we should wait for Dracon to come back. But do you have any thoughts on this chosen one topic?
Okay, well, I'm trying to remember from Mass Effect if Shepard was like chosen or like he earned. You know what? I chose she. She like she earned it. It's like I'm trying to remember what that weird godchild said, but I can't remember that well. It was too weird. But basically, it's like how she got to that point, but no one else could because boom, we let you. You're the chosen one.
I don't know. I've never played Mass Effect. I
It's a good
should.
series. It's a good series. The ending got weird. Like for what they were setting up, weird ending. Even in the remake, where they quote unquote fixed things.
Wasn't it just a remaster?
Remaster, sorry. And let's see.
I mean, I wasn't correcting you. I was just saying, wasn't it just a remaster that they didn't really
Right,
change any story stuff?
it was a remaster, but they added more stuff at the ending because everybody hated the ending.
Yeah, I remember that. There was a lot of
But
controversy about that.
yes. What color would you want your ending to be? That's kind of what it was. But anyway, um, one game that I thought did the chosen one thing pretty like in an interesting way. Control.
Oh, good one.
Okay. You played it, right?
No, I didn't, but go ahead.
Seriously, play that game. But one thing that they cover like pretty early, this thing will see your character Jesse and be like, okay, we was like we would like to choose her, but well, long story short, by then they realized their mistake with the other ones that they chose. So they let her make the decision to choose to be chosen. Like she already had a reason to be there, but now it's like, okay, we want to give you some gifts, give some goodies, but we're not gonna make a decision for you. It's your choice.
Okay.
And she's like, click, click, let's do this. It gets complicated from there, but honestly, aside from the shitty map, good game. Go for it.
Okay, well, I'll do the slight spin off of this one where we're talking about the Giga Chad chosen one. Where this is someone who at no point was ever going to be the chosen one. Like, and I've talked about this game already on this thing. This is going to be Chrono Trigger again. We're talking about Chrono here. This is a dude who just went to a fair, go have some fun, meets up a girl, maybe trying to see where it goes. They have a little fun. They play some games together. His friend then shows off this cool new technology that she's doing. It goes haywire. Sucks the girl that he might have an interest in through a portal. So he has two choices here. He could just walk away, be like, yeah, that's not my problem. But no, he jumps in. Like a true Giga Chad, he becomes the chosen one just because he wants a girl.
I mean,
Am I wrong in anything I've said there?
It could be because he likes the girl, or maybe he just felt like it was the right thing to do. Depends on how you interpret it, I guess.
But at the same time, this was just a random happenstance. He just walked out of his house being like, yeah, it's just gonna be a regular day. The sun's beautiful. The fair's going on. There's no one trying to kill us all. Oh, hey, a random portal. Oh, this girl I was interested in got sucked in. Well, I might as well do the right thing. Jump right in. Doesn't matter. I'm leaving my parents, my mom behind. Who knows if I'll ever make it back? I'll go rescue this girl. And then he becomes the chosen one of the whole series.
Fair, yeah. So I actually have other chosen ones now. Holy crap! There's so many. There are so many.
Okay, well, if we go on chosen ones, we have an entire franchise as well that's chosen ones aside from the Square Enix games. Almost every Megami Tensei game,
That's what I was gonna do.
almost every Megami Tensei game chosen.
Literally every single
Yeah.
one. They're actually chosen.
Yep,
It's not even like, oh, fate has chosen them. No, God chose them.
I say almost everyone. The only one where you technically weren't chosen, but you still had to go fix stuff. Strange Journey.
That's true.
I say this because
Yeah.
you were the only one who was lucky enough to have your ship survive without being either put somewhere random or destroyed. Then your team members are useless. So you're the only one who has to step up and actually do something in that game. And it just so happens that it just aligns. Everyone's like, okay, well, you're doing the most stuff, so we'll align with you.
Yeah, essentially. And then the other freeloaders are like, well, now we're going to split off. I'm going to go the chaos route, and I'm going to go the law route. And then,
And then you have your old Captain comes back and says, well, yeah, you can choose either those routes or you can just
do your own
actually
thing.
try to save humanity.
Yeah, essentially.
Either way, some girl from the future just shows up to try and kill you.
Yeah, the Redux version makes you into a chosen one. The original Strange Journey doesn't.
Yeah, so we're just going to stick with the original.
In Redux, she comes back to kill you because of your choices changing the whole future. So then you become a chosen one because of that. In the original, that never happens. So the ending is just basically: do you let everyone fight each other? Do you let everyone be mind controlled, or do you just say "F it, let's save humanity"?
Yeah,
But I agree
essentially.
with you. Like every other one, like the best example of a chosen one in this Persona 5.
Oh, I got a better one. Persona 4.
I say 5 more than 4, and the reason why was 4. 4 was the villain of that game just randomly picked people because there were 3 of you. You were the one
Yeah.
that was looking to become the protagonist.
There were 3?
Yeah, Adachi.
Oh, and 4. Yeah.
And for whatever the guy who put
Namatame.
Namine in the TV, I forgot his name.
Namatame.
Namatame and your protagonist. And Namatame is the only one who never awoken his Izanagi. You and Adachi did.
Yeah.
Yeah, funny enough, Persona 3, that character just happened to be around.
Well,
At
not
the
only
worst
that,
possible time.
He was actually
you were picked by the
chosen.
Avatar of Death. You were picked by the Avatar of Death. Literally, that's why Death talks to you so much. That you were picked by him.
No, he wasn't picked. But what happened was, Death was there. Iga showed up to fight him. Your parents got killed, and you happened to just be around, and Iga couldn't kill it, so she just showed into your body.
Yeah.
That's how all this
sealed
started.
it into him. She chose the kid to seal it into.
There was no one else.
Of course.
It was either the kid or everybody dies.
So here's
It
how it
wasn't
goes.
chosen.
Persona 3, chosen by Igus. I don't care what you say. Persona 4, chosen by Izanami. Persona 5, chosen by Igor.
No, Ealdebot. Oh, Igor. Yes.
Yeah, Igor.
Yeah. Oh no, not Igor. Chosen by fate. Igor is just your guide there to help you awaken your abilities, but he technically isn't the one that chooses you.
So what I'm gonna say is this: if you're currently watching me play through Persona 5 Royal, and you don't know anything about Persona 5, mute it because I'm going to get into it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you're not muted, you're kind of screwed. So anyway, the thing is that technically Akechi was chosen too.
Yeah.
Akechi was chosen by Yaldabaoth, and Joker was chosen by Igor. But Yaldabaoth did some dirty stuff and kind of trapped Igor. But before Igor was trapped, he made annoying cat, Morgana. So Akechi had this. This was, of course, for a kind of game that Yaldabaoth and Igor were going into on whose chosen character would change society the most or whatever. And
I could have sworn that Yaldabaoth chose you both, but still kept stacking it in Keji's favor. I could have.
Yeah, I thought that
I
was
could be
as
wrong.
well that Yaldabaoth chose both of you.
it's
It's
possible.
just that, yeah, I think Yaldabaoth chose both. But what Igor did was that he had the spirit, the one that becomes that the two girls be there to actually help you because everything was already stacked in the Catchy's favor. He already started like
Two
years
years
earlier.
before. 2 years before. Akechi had started when he was 14 or so. 2 years
Around
before
there,
the
yeah.
start of Persona 5, Akechi had already had his powers awaken, and he had met the final boss and was working for him and caused a lot of the events in Persona 5 to actually happen.
Yep, definitely.
Yep.
So while they're both chosen people and they both have the wild card, also I want to talk about something that's not necessarily a trope, but I got to talk about it because it has to do with Persona 5, but I'll get into that in a second. They're both chosen characters, they both have the wild card, and one of them is going to win. And technically, Yaldabaoth can win if you decide to choose the bad ending.
Yeah.
Which you can do. I've done it once.
Or anytime you just die, Yaldabaoth wins.
That's true too. But yeah. So I wanted to say something about Akechi and Joker.
Actually,
What's up?
real quick. I'm trying to remember where the wild card came from for Persona 3. Because I know, because it was like 1 and 2, everybody got it. But then in Persona 3, I don't know if it was Death that gave it to you or. Huh. But.
Eagle just says, "Oh, the wild card awakens in you."
Yeah, he just tells you that it awakens. It isn't really explained why only that person has the wild card.
You just so happen to have the stacked arcana, where it requires you to make friends to actually make full use of the arcana.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally the curse of the wild card, which is the reason why Akechi was not as strong as he should have been, because he never understood the friends aspect of the wild card.
Yep.
Right. That's actually the other thing. What's his name from 2? Melamon?
I was not about to say which version of 2 you're talking about, but yeah, okay.
Either version, all the versions. But yeah, like the guy that's like signified by like a butterfly.
Igor's
and
boss.
Yeah, like he technically is still around because all the save points are butterflies.
Mm-hmm.
And you see the butterfly motif like every other game. So maybe he's the one doing the awakening, or maybe he's like helping you along. Like maybe he's the one choosing.
Technically, Philemon is choosing, but
yeah, I mean, the other best example of SMT with chosen is Nocturne. Literally, you got chosen as Demi Fiend.
Yeah. Oh my god, that sucks. But anyway, yeah. Oh, and I wanted to say something quickly before we move off of this subject. A lot of people have been. There's been a debate, or there had been a debate on what Akechi's Arcana is.
He's officially a wild card.
I mean, wild card just means that he can flip through.
Okay. If you go based on Persona 5 Royal, you know what Arcana he is, but I mean, you haven't reached that far yet. Oh, actually,
No,
no, you did. Based Persona
only
5.
in vanilla. Only in vanilla.
In vanilla, he had
He's
did he have?
Justice.
Yeah,
He's Justice.
Justice. Yeah, yeah. There you go. Just basically follow
That's what I think he was, and people were like, "No, he's the fool because he can switch through personas," and I'm like, "No."
okay. He has the
It says
wild
he's
card
Justice.
Okay, so yeah, so how it goes is that and this makes sense, Sonny, and this is something we haven't explained. The wild card is just a state of being able to awaken multiple personas. It doesn't confirm what class you are. It just so happens that it aligns that the wild card tends to align to the full class most of the time in the
Mhm.
Persona games, which is why Persona 3, 4, and 5, you have the full class, but it's technically the wild card is technically separate from that. And as you said, Akechi is a wild card justice.
Yeah, like the other. If I know that a lot of people who were arguing with me essentially were saying, "Oh no, you don't know what you're talking about." But I'm like, if you played Personas 1 and 2, you would know that all of these people have.
For that one,
They
you
all
have to
they
blame
all have wild cards. Yeah.
you basically have to blame Atlas more than anything else. Atlas basically tied Wildcard and Fool together since Persona 3, and that's what people think. And most people who got into Persona played Persona 3 first. So
Yeah,
you know that's really I blame Atlas for that one. If they explain that the wild card could be anything, it's just a state of being given that ability instead of it being like because I believe Adachi also should have had wild card in P4. Was it Golden?
thought she didn't have any friends though.
He didn't have any friends. Yeah, but
All
His,
he,
his
he had a thin veneer of being a bumbling cop and friendly to people, but if you did his jester social link, jester slash hunger social
yeah,
link, uh, you'd realize like a lot of the stuff he said is that, oh, I don't like these people who like to be there for me. Like he has an older neighbor who's always worried about him and gives him food all the time, and he's like, that's so annoying. And I'm like, do you
uh,
not like people doing things for you, my dude?
he just hates where he is, and because of where he hates where he hates anything about it. So even if someone's being friendly, he hates it because literally he says, "I hate being put into this small town to become a thing."
Mm-hmm.
He wants to be in like the city.
He wanted the
right. It's
action.
like right. It's like I guess just to sum it up, if you're the full Arcana, you're the protagonist. You're not like it's like anybody can have the wild card. It's just you're the fool because you're the protagonist. You just happen to have it
Yeah,
because like everybody had it into even the bad guys
That's
probably.
true. But yeah, so it's like I don't know. I know this was this diverted from our original purpose, but it's something I kind of wanted to get out there because it's annoying.
yeah. Well, I mean, SMT in general will bring a lot of debates, except for the true debate of what the best SMT game is, and
Answer is all of them.
no, the answer is Strange Journey. Stop lying to yourself.
The answer is all of them.
The
Whatever
answer
you
is
like is
you're lying to yourself, Sonny. It's Strange Journey. Stop lying to yourself.
I'm not lying to myself. I
You're lying
have
to yourself, Sonny.
everybody got
Arena
preferences.
Ultimax. It's Arena Ultimax. What are you talking
All
about?
right, King Crazy is officially no longer a part of this
Okay,
podcast.
okay. Well, here's the funny part about that King Crease. That's not an S&T game. Sorry about that.
That is technically
It's a Persona game.
Fighting you, yes it is. Anyway, what
No,
other
it's
tropes
not.
can we talk about?
Literally since Persona 3, they dropped the S&T
Next
title
question.
on all Persona
all right.
games.
Next
Give me a
question.
sec. I'll get into the next
Okay, so Sonny, back to you. Next trope.
one. Right. Okay. It's not necessarily one from a story standpoint, but from a gameplay standpoint. Save points right before a boss fight.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, actually, you know what?
No, even better.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, real quick, even better. A save point, but so right before a big empty room. Like, oh yeah, surely nothing big is going to happen here.
Yeah, we're gonna get a long cutscene before a boss fight. We can't skip it.
Or the trope subversion, a la Dark Souls. Every fight's a boss fight.
Gosh, I still gotta finish Dark Souls.
I haven't played it, but I know it. But I know enough. Like you're right.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Even the small enemies are.
They're mini bosses. The small enemies are mini bosses. The big enemies are bosses.
Oh,
Actually, wait.
Yes,
There was one game for the PlayStation. I'm trying to remember what it was. It's Dark Souls but with guns.
the
I
one
can't
that
remember
you
what it was.
streamed.
Yes, I remember what the name was, but essentially the regular enemies, they're fine until they start swarming, but the bosses themselves are fucking horseshit. Like, it's like, there's this one thing that just constantly bombarded me to the point where it's like, okay, after I beat that thing, I was just done with the game. Like, you know what? I did it. I got my revenge. I don't care anymore. I'm tired. I'm done.
I would say this now. I would think this may be a controversial statement, but this is what I felt. I always feel that like the Dark Souls genre was the natural evolution of horror games, where in a lot of the horror games that isn't Resident Evil or where literally anything is out to kill you and you couldn't really fight it, and you had to find means to actually defeat these things. And that Dark Souls grew into that genre where you're always on the losing end. You have to put strategy ahead of just like brute force to try and get past stuff.
Yeah, like, actually, that reminds me. There was this other game that I actually just played, Alan Wake. Same thing, where it's like, okay, the save points, it's like they're automatic, but if you get to like a spotlight, that's a save point. But it's usually before something big is gonna come at you,
Yes.
and it's
Yeah,
like, okay, how many bullets do I have? How many flares? How many everything? And it's like, okay, then you see the thing. It's like, oh, not enough. Neat.
it's definitely enough. You
It's
gotta
like
suck on those energizer batteries.
it's one of those games where you have to be like, okay, can I actually run from this? Because your character, first off, can't run for shit. Like, seriously, 5 seconds of running and he's tired.
Well, he's a rider, not a runner.
True.
It's not. It's like it's well, it's like, get your adrenaline up, Jesus. But it's like, yeah, there are some moments where like, yeah, you really do have to run. Like, you can't just. It isn't like a fight everything kind of game. But you actually have to be smart. And actually, funny enough, that's also like a chosen one, because actually that spoils, never mind. But
Uh,
also, yeah,
yeah, let's just put it this way. I mean, because even the protagonist from Control was a chosen one as well. So
yes, but she chose to be chosen.
yeah, but actually, yeah, yes, literally, they were like, here's what the old whatever the hell the
The
title
oldest
was.
house,
No, not the oldest house. The
the
deputy,
board,
the director. There we go.
the
The
director.
the,
Yeah,
the previous director didn't want wasn't playing ball with the board, so they got rid of him. Now they want you to be the new director because they want you to play ball with them.
but you have to want it.
Quotation marks, you have to want it, but let's be real here. If she didn't have that spoiler territory here, if anyone who has to play Control, well, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If she didn't have that special entity inside of her, she would have probably not survived choosing to become the director.
Uh, if she didn't have that thing, she never found the place in the first place.
True.
Like, that was the whole point.
Actually, maybe not. I suspect that maybe her brother might have still probably been able to get her in there. Probably.
With what happened to her brother, doubtful. But anyway, that's spoilers,
Yeah.
because it's one of those games where I'm like, hey, more people, could you play? Could you try this game out? And they're like, no, and I'm like, but it's good. Listen to me. But anyway,
Yes.
but
We went off there, but yes, no more spoilers about Control.
right, and actually, real quick, what's the topic right now? Like, which trope?
Sunny.
Oh, right. Uh,
I completely forgot.
save points right before a boss. Right.
There you go.
Right, and actually, pretty much, I think it's like every Final Fantasy game has that.
Yeah.
Yes, every single one. Every single one.
Yeah. I mean, except for the MMO versions because MMOs are slightly different.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I have my second choice, and this is the one which everyone either hates or loves: the Deus Ex Machina save. Every game has or not every game, but a lot of games, especially RPGs, has one point in there where the protagonist or someone is guaranteed to die, and they get Deus Ex Machina saved in some way, shape, or form. Whether they awaken their power, whether someone comes at the right moment to save them, or whether the villain gets attacked or something randomly and or gets distracted.
Yep.
There's always some point in most RPGs where an event like this happens that saves the protagonist, and I call it the Deus Ex Machina event because it just happens to make sure the protagonist survives.
Hmm.
We have a good one. Oh, Xenosaga. What we were saying about when these things when they grab you and they turn you into sand. No, sorry, salt.
Mhm.
Yeah, are like this is like the first area of the game, and one of them grabs the protagonist, and you actually see her starting to turn like paper white, and she's like slowly resigning herself to death. Like it's like, oh man, I guess that's it. But then, uh, lead female robot will explode through the walls, use the Hilbert effect, kill everything, and the idea is you either turn to salt or you turn into one of the aliens. And through the entire series, this girl's fine, even though we see this happen to another guy who also got grabbed at around the same time. Like he turns like halfway through the game, right?
Yeah.
Turns out this lady, huge spoiler for a game that came out like 20 years ago or more. She's the maiden of Mary Magdalene.
Yep. Oh
And
man, uh,
which, by the way, they never really explain what the hell that even means. She's just this thing, and that is why she can't be turned into a Gnosis.
Hmm.
the power
Yeah.
plot armor or
Oh,
Deus
by
Ex.
the way, the robot that I was talking about, yeah, that's the body of Mary Magdalene. Well, no, her soul. Her body is elsewhere.
Yeah, we got some Ava vibes from that one.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, Sonny, you've also experienced this in games before, where you're playing and you know the protagonist is supposed to suddenly lose or die, and then something just happens. Hell, Persona is the best example of
It's
this.
literally every game I've ever played.
It's like, hey, your guy's about to get killed by Tamaguchi's shadow in the first thing. Suddenly, your Persona awakens at that exact moment. Hell, Persona 3, you're about to be killed by a shadow on the roof. Suddenly, death awakens inside of you.
Yeah, actually, not just that. He just picks up what's her face's evoker and then like blasts himself and boom.
Because only because he saw her trying to do that same thing. Because why would a sane person ever think, "Hey, let
Gonna
me
point this gun
fight"?
at my head and pull the trigger. That's exactly what he did.
Right? And let's see, Persona, yeah, Persona 2, same thing. Like it's like they play the Joker game, but then these things are about to kill them, and then they just all of a sudden Personas. Turns out there's more to it than that, but also yeah.
But
And
yes, so the Deus Ex Machina thing, which happens in many games, you guarantee at least one point in the game your character survives something they shouldn't have by happenstance.
Yep.
oh, actually, Drakon, Cyberpunk.
Um,
you get shot in the head.
Yeah, but
And
to be fair though, you have chrome in your head.
No, you were dead. But then the chip that you happen to have in your head at that time just happened to have nanomachines or something, and it just put you back together.
Yeah, well, the whole purpose of the chip is to allow the soul inside of the chip to take over a body, so it can't have the body dying on it until the soul can take over.
Yeah, but you were straight up like the whole intro of the game is just your death, and then you're just back again. Oh, actually, here's a fun one. What was it? Breath of Fire 3. Have you ever played that?
Ah, yes.
Yeah, these asshole. Well, hold on. A centaur with just the 2 legs. What is that? Still a centaur or what?
Not really. If it's just 2 legs, that's just like
Just a
a
dude.
red up bipedal.
Just a
It's
dude.
a what?
It's a dude.
No, it's a horseman with hooves, but it doesn't have like the whole back half of the horse. Whatever. Anyway,
It's a satyr.
So that's a satyr or a fawn then.
yeah, it's a satyr, but it's not a goat. It's a horse.
So it's a horse satyr.
Fuck it, sure. So anyway, these two horse satyr things, they show up after you and your friends pretty much really screw up, and then they quote beat your friends, and
Giggity.
these shut up, and these 2 guys are pretty much the they're like nemesis. It's like every time they show up, you can't just beat them. Like it's like they're that much stronger than you. But then one time, they have this princess girl hostage, and they just straight up stab you in the chest. Like you should be dead, but then you just turn into a dragon, and yeah, they're like, we need to talk about this. We need to sell this. We need to make a shit ton of money off of this. Until they remove the tarp and you're a human again. And the king's like, throw them all in prison. Even the kid in the cage. It's like, what? Like no, it's the one part of the game where I'm mad that your character's like silent and mute because it's like, wouldn't a normal person be like, I'm the victim, you fucks? Why is no one talking?
I was waiting for Science to talk, but okay.
I'm just listening, processing.
I was about to say what the hell happened? But actually, no, it's not really Deus Ex Machina because you were a dragon clearly at first, but the fact that it helps you survive a stab wound, that's kind of like.
Yeah, but the Deus Ex Machina part comes out from the fact that at no point did it ever hint that he was a dragon. He looked like a regular human. He got stabbed, and suddenly power awakens.
All right, but like the first part of the game, like literally, you hit new game and you're like this little dragon.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Sure. I guess just the stabbing part. But I guess you just regenerate that and you just go on then.
So yes,
Crazy dude.
Oh.
The trope.
yes, you're on.
Actually, I do have one more.
Sure.
The one part of Street Fighter that goes uncontested. First, like the first Street Fighter tournament, Ryu was getting the shit beat out of him. It was terrible. It was just sad to watch, and it's like Sagat all but won the fight to the point where it's like, oh, all right, come on, like let me help this kid up, and then he just awakens evil Ryu, Shoryukens the shit out of him, literally, and that's how everybody's like, oh man, Ryu's he's the strongest character ever. It's like, no, he's not. He's a fucking cheater.
He's a cheap shot jerk. Quite literally a cheap shot jerk. Because Sagat, I think, wasn't necessarily. Wait, Sagat was still a bad guy, wasn't he?
No, in the first game, he was not a bad guy.
He was just a
At all.
guy who was really good at fighting, and then
Yeah.
Ryu was like, well, I'm losing,
Fair-
and I'm really angry. I'm going to cheap shot the crap out of him and cause a really nasty scar on his chest.
And eye.
Yeah.
But he also loses eye.
Oh,
No, his eye was
Actually-
already lost before.
okay. Fair enough. Sagat wasn't the nicest guy because he, before then, killed Dan's dad because
Yeah.
Dan's dad took out the eye.
To be fair, though, Dan's dad created Dan. I'm okay with that.
That's terrible.
Dan is a fun mainstay character of the series.
Yeah, you keep telling yourself that.
He's
Come-
something.
Actually, I think Capcom keeps telling themselves that.
I
No,
mean,
they do it on purpose.
they do. The day Dan can make a proper Hadouken that doesn't require him to use a special meter for it, then he can talk.
Dan is there to give people bragging rights.
Oh,
If
yes,
someone's really good with Dan, and you get trashed with someone who's using Dan, stop playing Street Fighter, essentially. That's
Yeah,
essentially what they're going to tell you. Stop playing Street Fighter. You're done.
Just give up on playing games altogether. Your level of trash.
No. They made Dan because SNK made Rio after Ryu was made. So they were like, okay, if you want to steal our character, well, one of yours. So they made Dan as a parody of Rio, but they were like, okay, we can do that shit too, again. And they made Rio's sister a copy of Sakura from Street Fighter.
Mm.
And I don't know if there was anything after that, but yeah, that's why that happened.
The days of when these companies just love to do this to each other.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, King Crazy, you got a new trope?
Let's see. I kind of want to say evil best friend.
Go for it.
Like,
It happens a lot.
it does.
You mean evil best friend or like an evil party member?
Evil best friend. The best example I could give of that is Suikoden 2.
Why
Anyone ever played that game?
I have not.
Me neither.
Okay, so in Suikoden 2, you and your friend are part of this I wouldn't say militia for the army for one side, and then you find out that your captain has basically betrayed you all to the enemy side, and you're all supposed to die there. You and your friend escape, and you're rescued by the resistance. And at a certain point, you have to make a choice. Do you stay the resistance? Well, I want to say your choice is basically stay the resistance or not. But I mean, don't really have a choice in these games. You're going to pick stay the resistance. And your friend says, "Well, I don't want to join them," and he leaves. Q, next time you see him, he joined the side that the captain betrayed you all for. Because he decided in his view that the only way to stop a tragedy that happened again is to have power. And who has power? The enemy side. So you are the resistance, which is the only thing that's keeping your entire nation from getting destroyed now, since the actual military of that nation is wrecked. Fighting against your friend, who's on the side of the enemy now.
Hmm.
And the game ends where you and him meet up in the same area where you all met up when you escaped, into a final 1v1 battle between each other.
Okay.
So, like I
Okay,
said, that game defines the trope of evil best friend. And I mean, technically, he went evil for the sake of having power, so no one would ever be in the situation that he was in again. But he did a lot of bad stuff in the process to get that kind of power. So, yeah.
Okay. I will see your Suikoden character and raise you another character from Breath of Fire who turns out actually fits the whole Deus Ex Machina survival better. because after the horse people beat your friends, well, yeah, out of the trio of you at that time, because you were a dragon and your friend was a were-tiger. No joke. It's pretty cool, but
Tiger.
yes,
Basically,
it's why
a person who can transform into a human or tiger form. It's basically the version of a werewolf.
obviously, but then, which is funny because the person is already a tiger person, so he turns into more of a tiger. But anyway, not him. The third friend, you meet him almost like in the last level of the game, and he's working for the god that wants you dead. Because as it turns out, he's a dragon too. Like, for some reason, your tiger friend just happened to run into two kids who were orphans and also happened to be dragon people. Just cuz. But anyway, he is completely like reverse of the person he was before. He is wholeheartedly devoted to this god, and how this god is saying that your people, the dragons, were way too dangerous to keep alive on Earth, so they had to be taken out, and like either taken out or locked away in quote unquote the paradise that you find him in. And pretty much, you go after this god, you have to fight him too. And he also kind of traps you into sort of like a nightmare dimension. So there's that, and you have to like dive into all your characters' interpersonal demons. And by the way, that that dungeon sucks because there wasn't even any like, it wasn't like halls. It was like, here's this little room, a circle with a spotlight, and you have to find the door, but it's a puzzle. It's just puzzle after puzzle after puzzle, which sucked. But anyway, you go, you fight this thing, and this whole time, no dragon powers. None of it. So you have to go through this thing, beat him, and then immediately after that, he comes out and he's like, "You have proved my point. Look at how strong you are. Look at how dangerous you are. Like, we have to be locked away. And if you're not going to stop, I'm going to have to kill you." Then he turns into a dragon form that you can't get, which pissed me off because it was dope as hell. And then you kill him, and it's like, you proved my point again. See? It all ends in blood. That's all we are. Oh, I wish I could just go back to the days where we just played as kids, and he dies. And your tiger friend is justifiably pissed, but he's not like loud about it. He's just like, you know what? I'm gonna stab God in the face. Let's go stab God in the face. And yeah, but even after all that, God still gives you the choice to end up like he did and just be locked away. So yeah, because quote unquote, the guy's benevolent. Quote.
Okay.
It's a whole thing, but it was one of those like, yeah, I can't abide this shit.
Yep.
I've got a good one.
Sure.
Isn't an RPG.
Okay.
Have either of you played Grand Theft Auto San Andreas?
Of course. And we know who you're talking about.
I've got two people, actually.
Go for it.
Ryder and Big Smoke. So, for anybody who doesn't know the story of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and you want to hear what I'm about to say, stick around. If you don't want to get spoiled, get out of here. I mean, you can stay, but just don't listen. Anyway, so you play as CJ, Carl Johnson, who's just coming into his home of Los Santos in San Andreas.
Grove Street.
Wait, what?
Grove Street. Grove Street.
Oh, Grove Street. Yeah. But he lives in Los Santos. He's going to Grove Street, where he was a former gang member of the Grove Street, whatever they were. They wore green, and their enemies, the enemy gang was called the Ballers. Cool name, but they wore purple, so they was whack. Anyway, um, Carl comes back to that state after his brother had died, and he had, gone to, what was it, Liberty City for a while. So he's coming back, and he's seeing the how his neighborhood and the whole city has changed since he's been gone. It's the early 90s, so, there's no cell phones or anything. It's picked up by some police officers, one of them Samuel L. Jackson, and goes back to his home, and he finds his friends, his older brother, his younger sister, and two best friends, Big Smoke and Ryder. Ryder is one of the most confrontational friends that's in the group. So while you're trying to you're single-handedly bringing the Grove Street, whatever they're called, I forgot their name, gang, back to prominence in the city, Ryder is always riding your back about it, calling you wag and buster and a bunch of other old 90s slang terms for a nerd. And, you can see Ryder being essentially a traitor real easy because he's just so unlikable. But Big Smoke is one of the closest friends. He's always got words of wisdom. He's that goofy fat dude who always has something philosophical to say. And he's fun. And you like hanging out with him. And the only time you don't want to hang out with him is when he's telling you to follow the train, CJ. Is someone snoring?
Snoring, what?
Oh, okay. I heard noise.
You heard that too?
Yeah. Okay. But essentially, you're building your gang back up from the ground up, and while you're doing that, you've got your whole crew around, and then essentially, at one point in the game, you get betrayed or something. Like the police know everything that's been going on, and everybody's lured into an ambush because they're about to and there's this green car that has been used to help trick all of the Grove Street people into going into this ambush. And we know that Ryder is behind it. And I think later on we also find out that Big Smoke is in on it too. So, it all culminates in you killing Ryder at some point in the middle of the story, and Big Smoke becoming the penultimate boss. And it's wild because, I don't know. For me, it was more shocking to find out that Big Smoke betrayed us because that's your boy. That's the one who's always got words of wisdom. But, whatever. There's your evil best friend. The two evil best friends, even though one of them's kind of a jerk anyway. So.
Actually, I have another one. If wait, Drago, do you have any?
No, go ahead, man.
Okay, so the Yakuza series.
Ooh. Is
Like
that the first one?
Yes, it's the first one. But I'm also going into the remake, Kiwami.
It's the same game. It's just
No, because there's more scenes.
okay.
Because they really wanted to capture how your best friend Nishikiyama, and this is why this is why I say start with the Yakuza 0 first, because you actually see their friendship,
Mm-hmm.
and around that time he's still in the Yakuza, and he gets ordered more than once to murder you, and every single time he just doesn't do it because you're his best friend, straight up. It's like he turns around and betrays the Yakuza with you when the ships are down. So it's like, and what's worse, by the end of that game, you are up against an enemy who says straight up, I'm never going to stop. I'm never going to quit. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill her. I'm going to kill everybody. And this is where our protagonist, Kiryu, is like really ready to murder this man. Nishiyama is the one who stops you because he knows or feels that killing someone, it just changes you. It just, does whatever to you. So it's like he wants to save his friend from that. Then Yakuza 1 happens, and you actually see that, well, not their boss directly, but one of their bosses was going to do horrible, terrible things to their female friend, and Nishiyama killed him to save her, and Kiryu took the heat.
Right.
And
he went to prison, right?
Yes, and for 10 years, they were separated, and Nishiki got hit with pretty much everything, especially how, if Kiryu was around, this would never happen. Like he had his own family, he had everything that he wanted in the first game, and everyone just kept hitting him with, oh man, if only Kiryu was here. And his sister dying, that didn't help. The sister dying because the doctor he gave the money to save her ran out with the money, that didn't help. But the last straw was that the one other Yakuza who gave him shit about, if Kiryu was here, he was the one that the doctor owed money to. Nishiki was literally working with the guy who's indirectly responsible for the death of his sister. And so Nishiki grabs a knife and stabs this dude dead, and it's like, okay, I can't trust anybody. So, and I think that's like by the 5-year mark, and it just keeps getting worse to the point where he is legitimately colder. He is like he's an actual threat. There's this other character who says, "Look, while you were gone, your friend, he became a true Yakuza." And by the end of the game, he just lets it all out. Like he hated being jealous of you. He hated not being able to trust anybody. It's just this whole descent, right?
Mm-hmm.
And his plan is to kill you, get the money, get the girl, and get control of like all the Yakuza. Like all he has to do is take you out, and he wins.
Because that works.
Yes, but also he knows exactly where the money is, who has it. Like it's like technically, yeah, if he did kill you, he would have won. It would have been perfect for him. But anyway, it's like, okay, yeah, he's not going to stop, so you have to be the one to take him out, and that leads into our final boss fight with your best friend. And well, not only did they add in more scenes to show like how he got so bad, but also they updated his fighting style. Because in the old game, he fought kind of like you, but in this, he's more agile. Like he's tougher. So,
Okay.
and they threw in they even threw in a little more. What's the word? Shit. When you're like pushing the buttons along with the fighting, but it's like cinematic.
Oh, quick time.
Yes, thank you. So they threw in more of those, and you just see all these past memories. Like well, pretty much from Zero.
Mm-hmm.
The good times.
Right.
Which is why, play Zero first. And then you beat him. And then the other main bad guy, who's just an insane asshole, starts trying to shoot everybody, shoots the girl, shoots you, and he's about to kill you all. Then Nishiki gets up, grabs a knife, stabs him dead, while this man's shooting him repeatedly, takes the bomb, there was a bomb, along with the money, looks at you, smiles, and then just blows them all up. The bad guy, the money, all of it. Except for, obviously, you, because the money was in a safe that was blocking the explosion. So, yeah. It's like you literally just got your best friend back, and he just died for you.
I mean, he was kind of a piece of crap, but yeah.
He wasn't, but then he was, but then at the last second he wasn't.
Okay. Well, Dracon, do you have any more examples, or you want to move on to the next trope?
Oh, we can move to the next trope. That's
I
fine.
got a good one. All right. How many of you guys have played a game and you're doing everything story related and the story's going good, and then all of a sudden there's a boss fight and it makes absolutely no sense and comes out of nowhere?
Yeah.
That's
Wait, like,
go ahead.
wait, you
Go ahead.
mean like Nemesis, or like, oh, surprise, it was me, like something like that.
Something like surprise it was me. Not Nemesis, because Nemesis is, while out of nowhere, is story relevant.
Yeah, okay, so you mean a non-story relevant boss that just goes like, what, why?
Yeah.
Mid boss. If anyone who played Disgaea 1.
Never played Disgaea.
Oh, Seymour from 10, like the last fight. Like it's like, are we done with you by now? He's like, no,
Seymour,
for you see, I'm the chosen one. So Sin chose me. I'm gonna figure out how to control from the inside, and you're fucked. Yeah.
I
He's like,
got a better one if you do Final Fantasy. The
What?
Cactuar from Final Fantasy 12.
Didn't play it.
You just did. You finished your first bounty mission or whatever the hell they call it in that. You're like, okay, no one tells you what the plot is, so yeah, I'm thinking I got to do some more bounty missions. Suddenly, 10,000 needles. You die instantly. You're level 2. What? How am I supposed to die so quick in the game? Because the game never told you that was not the plot. If anyone who played Final Fantasy 12, you know what I'm talking about.
I played it, but I don't remember, because I never finished it.
Well, this was early on. You remember when they did that first like bounty quest mission thing, but it doesn't really tell you what you need to do next. So you're thinking, oh, there's all these other bounties here. I guess that's what I got to do next.
Sir,
And
I
you're not,
vaguely
because
remember
you're
that.
underleveled.
The only thing I remember is that there was a giant Tyrannosaurus that killed us immediately because I explored too much.
Well, that could also be part of your thing, because that's like a mini boss in its own right.
Yeah, it was a weird.
12 was the game of ideas. They wanted to try something, make Final Fantasy a bit more open world and stuff, and it just screwed a lot of things over.
Yeah, it gave me more Final Fantasy 11 vibes, because 11 was an MMO.
Yep.
So it was just weird, I guess.
Actually, there is another example I could give, and it's kind of like Nemesis, but kind of like the actual trope you're talking about. Like, it's both. Again, from Yakuza, the remade one. So there's this guy. His name's Majima. He's a fan favorite of the series, and he just loves fighting Kiryu specifically. And in the
Yeah.
remake game, there's this thing called Majima Everywhere. And he will honestly run around town just hanging out, but then the moment he sees you, he will go after you. Boom, boss fight.
Yeah, every single
So-
time. I don't like
Right.
it.
Yeah, but then the actual boss fight, and it's like, oh, now he's serious. Like, he wasn't serious before, but now he's serious now because he just likes fighting you that much. He doesn't even care about the orders to take you out. He just does it because of the thrill, you know?
Oh
Yeah.
god, that sounds like that guy from the remake of Final Fantasy 7. The one on the bike.
Oh,
him. Roach.
yeah, Roche, the guy with the pompadour.
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, nah, I'm not here to stop you. I just want to fight. You seem like someone who can give me a good fight. Let's fight.
I got a good one from Kingdom Hearts. Chernobog. If you don't know who Chernobog is, Chernobog, aside from being an actual mythological creature, monster, whatever, was in Fantasia. Do you guys remember Fantasia?
Yes, I remember Fantasia.
With
Never
Toccata
watched
and Fugue? Okay, well, let me look for an image of Chernobog.
But no, I know Chernobog. Trust me,
Okay.
I know about Fantasia. I just never watched it.
It's the giant monster that lives in the volcano or whatever, and you're at you're at the last map, and you're gonna go fight Ansem or whoever,
And he
and
just shows up.
you're just randomly in this place where a giant demon in a volcano is like, rah! And I'm like, did they really just have to add this out of nowhere? And if people didn't see Fantasia when, Fantasia's been around for like almost 100 years, I think, at this point. So, you just see a giant monster and nobody knows where, if you saw Fantasia, you know where it's from, but no, it just comes out of nowhere, so you don't understand what its purpose is there, and that's pretty much this trope. A boss from out of nowhere. I mean, it was cool because, turn bomb. But at the same time, what the heck? Where's he coming from? So yeah, that's one of them.
Okay, I got one then, and I mean this is a joke answer, but it's fine. My name is Gato, and I got metal joints. Beat me up, I get 100 points.
I'm sorry, I don't understand the reference.
Chrono Trigger.
You and Chrono Trigger.
Yes, it's a great game. I was actually making a joke there. Let me think.
Like every boss after after Dalton's fight on the Epoch. Like literally every boss after that is just essentially out of nowhere because you can just go straight to Lavos.
Funny enough, you the best part of the Dalton fight is that you can skip the boss before them as well. You can just wait them out and they just run away because they're afraid of heights.
There you go.
Actually,
okay. Good.
Oh no, I had another example, but if you want to keep going.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so Capcom versus SNK 2, which by the way, game near and dear to my heart. But for the first time I was playing it, like I wasn't so good at video games, or at least fighting games. But pretty much how it's supposed to be, you go through your matches, and then you have the final match with whatever team the computer wants to throw at you, and that's it. Roll credits, right? But then I played it again, not knowing anything. I didn't know use game facts on this at the time, but I did well enough that before what was supposed to be a final battle, out of nowhere, here comes a new challenger, and I'm looking at my other controller. No one's touching it. What the heck's going on? And then it's either Bison or Geese. And now I'm getting my ass kicked by these whoever's. And then I guess it's kind of out of nowhere because again, you just like, how did this happen? I was doing so well, and Bison's one thing. Geese is the one who does all the countering. So that wasn't fun at all.
Okay, so in that same vein, Street Fighter with Akuma. I think it's Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
Or Street Fighter 3.
Yeah, after you beat the final boss, either Bison or Seth or whoever, all of a sudden here comes a new challenger. Akuma comes in, beats the crap out of Bison or whatever, or tosses him away. I don't remember. And then
actually,
you gotta go ahead.
Oh, it's actually like before you fight him.
Right.
Like it's like you're about to fight Bison, and then this dude's gonna show up. The screen's gonna go black. Pop, and then Bison's out, and now you're fighting this guy who's just gonna kick the shit out of you because he's just here. Happens again in Street Fighter 3, and it happened in Capcom vs SNK 1. Literally, you're about to fight whoever, and then Akuma will swoop in from nowhere, karate chop your guy in half, and take over the final boss. Well, not literally in half, but also, yeah.
So yeah, that's I like this trope because I like it and I dislike it because like it's just you're enjoying a story and then all of a sudden, you're not going to enjoy the story anymore. It's something to take you off your track.
Yeah,
And sometimes it doesn't take you off the track. Sometimes it is technically part of the story, or not in general, like in Pokemon, where you're just walking around after releasing 3 legendary whatever. You're in the grass, and then
hey,
I'm not talking about Blue. I'm not talking about Blue. It was part of the story, technically.
okay, sorry.
I'm talking about legendary. I'm talking about like legitimate legendary. You're just walking around, and then all of a sudden, Entei shows up, and you try to catch it, and it runs away or roars and scares you away. You're never gonna see it again. You know, it's one of those things, and I enjoy, but also hate. I hate it in Pokemon, but it's kind of funny to see in something else, like Chernobog in Kingdom Hearts. Who doesn't like volcano demons just farting out lava?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. Dragon, do you have another trope, or are you good?
I mean, I think I'm good. I was thinking about a lot of different tropes, but I mean, oh right, yes, yes. Here's a trope which I hate so much in games, but I know why they do it. When you fight someone who you know is going to become a party member, but when you fight them, they're super powerful. When they join you, they're super weak.
Yeah.
Because evil makes you stronger. That's what I like to call it.
Yep.
Because 90% of the time they're on the wrong side, supposedly. And then they come to your side and they're like a fraction of their actual power.
And you're like, where did all this power go?
When you unlock it, that's when you unlock any final boss in any video game ever. Like,
Like Magus in Chrono Trigger.
oh yeah, because he was literally a boss multiple times, and then when you get him, like, wait, where's all that power you showed? You literally had the power to warp reality at some point. What's going on here? Yeah, I think that's one trope everyone can be like, I hate this. Why don't you made him so powerful? Why don't you give me super powerful guy? That's who I want. I don't want this C tier this C team version of him.
oh, dude, Akuma from pretty much all his video games he's in, because you'll fight him and he will beat you into the ground repeatedly. Whenever you hit him, you'll be doing basically nothing. But when you unlock him, he does half the damage and he takes twice as much. So, what was this for? What was this all for then? Am I here to suffer? Like what? Like the he's a little faster. Whoop-de-doo. I can't hit anything.
It's funny because on the flip side, it's your teammate who was once good and then has gone to the bad side and is now leagues more powerful than he's ever been as a party member.
Yeah.
And like you have a boss fight with him and he's like, oh my god, why was I ever with you guys? I could single-handedly do whatever I want now. Like, you still beat him, but it takes 4 of you to beat this guy who previously was at a lower, possibly, power level than your protagonist. And now your protagonist is struggling to fight him. Yeah, gee. Excuse me.
Actually, here's another one. Yeah, from Breath of Fire again. The horse people. Like, okay, so before that, you meet this guy. His name is Gar. He has like 50 different titles. He's like a champion in this tournament thing. And you think, oh man, having him is going to be great, like as a party member because he's on the box and all that. And then and then they're about to fight you again, and this time you and your party members are surrounded. Like it's like there's a whole army of goons just ready, and it's like, okay, how are we gonna get to this one? And then, from the way you came, you'll look, and then all those guys are dead, and Gar's just sitting there like, so yeah, these guys were in my way, so I moved them, and clandestinely, didn't I say after the tournament that I won that you would leave this kid and his friends alone? So I guess you betrayed me, you know? And and this is after in that tournament where you were the opponent and you hit him with everything and he kicks the shit out of you, doing damage that you would barely see even at the last level. So you're like, oh shit. And this is where everybody's like, fuck. So now the bad guys are like, okay, that's it. I'm done with this shit. Brother, it's time we do the thing. The thing? Yes. We're gonna combine. And then they fuse, and I'm like, what? What the shit? But then it turns like it's Horse Ultraman. It's horse. Like there's no other way to say it. It's Ultraman, but a horseman. And this thing can still kick the shit out of you, even with this guy in your team. This painfully slow guy in your team, and I'm like, what the hell happened between now and 10 minutes ago when you beat me? How did this happen? Like, weren't you awesome a minute ago? I mean, he does more damage, but he's not doing any of the damage that he did against you. And this is well after you have like a shit ton of dragon forms.
I see. Okay.
And
Go ahead.
oh, there is one other one, which I think you're better off explaining. From wait, did you play Persona FES?
Yes.
When you're fighting your teammates for kind of silly reasons.
Wait, which Persona you said?
Oh, you're talking about I guess episode, right?
Yeah.
Forgot what it's called in English, but
yeah. The answer.
The answer, yeah, that's what it's called.
The one which I started, and I was just like, nah, I can't level up from scratch again. Not after all those hours of Persona 3. I'm good.
So frustrating. It's so frustrating.
Wait, hold on.
Because
even wait, sorry, like even your other party members.
Yeah, you start back from like I don't know.
You start from like level 25.
Yeah, you start like level 25. You have none of the stuff which you had from the original game with you, so you have to get all new items. I was just like, I can't do this again. I just invested like 100 hours in base Persona 3. I can't invest another 20 hours just getting you back to good level. I was done.
That makes no sense.
It's so frustrating. I think I told you that when I was trying to record it for like for a YouTube thing, and I just kind of gave up because the whole thing was just so angering. Like, you get to a certain point and you can figure some stuff out, but at the same time, it's such a departure from Persona 3, I guess the journey or whatever you want to call it, that you want to throw your controller. You know how I am. I'm not a rager as far as it comes to these kinds of things, but this was legitimately frustrating. And I will get to the thing you were talking about, but you're not in control of your protagonist for plot reasons, and you control one of the other party members who you were never able to control in the first place, by the way. So it's still a funny thing because you get to control one of the party members you were never able to control, and the other party members you still can't control. So you play as this party member, and it gets to the point where they can choose to go back in time and change the past. But changing the past would also doom humanity. And I guess the robot is like, I don't think we should do that, because if we save this person, we're also dooming the human race. And everybody else is like, no, we want to save this. Well, one person's like, no, we want to save this person. And everybody else has their own reasons for either going to the past or not wanting to go to the past. And these guys are some of the strongest characters you will fight, despite only okay. So like in your party, maximum they can only have 999 health points HP. As a boss, they have HP somewhere in the thousands, and it's super difficult to like beat them for some reason. And I'm like, where was this gumption before? We could have taken out the final boss of Persona 3, The Journey, if y'all had been fighting this hard before.
See, this is why the other guy died. This is why both of the guys died. This is why so many people died in that game.
A bunch of people died in Persona 3. The theme of Persona 3 was death, so, you know. But, yeah. So, these party members who were previously maybe 400 HP, because nobody's maxing out their HP, let's be real. At least not in the answer. They're suddenly like 2,000 HP or 4,000 HP each. And you have to fight them in duos. It's like a weird tournament thing. And yeah. That's it. And then after you do that, still gotta go back in time and do some stupid goofy crap and blah blah blah. And the answer was a good tie-in for the end of Persona 3, but it wasn't fun playable. It wasn't playable in the best way, because there was fusion, and there was, I think they removed the compendium. I don't remember, but it was frustrating as heck. Super duper frustrating. So, yeah. If you're interested in Persona and you want to play Persona 3 Fez, just play The Journey and watch the answer on YouTube. That's all I gotta say.
Or do the better thing and avoid Fez altogether and just say P3P, which is the definitive Persona 3 experience.
Agree to disagree.
Oh, you didn't like P3P?
P3P is fine. I mean, it's the same story, but it's harder to access because you can only play it on PSP or PSTV.
It's true. It's harder to access, but it at least has enough enhancements to Persona 3 that it doesn't feel like a chore to play the game anymore.
And it is a chore. And I'm not fond of the whole visual novel style that went on with it. Because, I don't know. I kind of wanted to see the same interactions the characters had. And also the fact that you can romance Ken in the female protagonist route. I'm not cool with that.
That's creepy. I'll say that is creepy.
For anybody who doesn't know, Ken is like 12 and the protagonist is like 16, so, you know. Not cool. So yeah. I did your job for you, Atlas. Sponsor me. Do we have any?
Megas characters in the game?
No. Because we're all adults at this point, and we know at this point, if we're characters in an Atlas game, or dead, or demons. Atlas, let me voice Black Frost. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, that's a good question. Like, actually, Dracon, if you had the chance, who would you want to voice in a Shin Megami Tensei game?
If I had the choice to voice anyone in the Shin Megami Tensei game, I would voice Death from Persona 3 because I will make the most obnoxious voice that people hate that game.
Really?
Actually, no.
Wait,
Okay.
death as in every single avatar? Like,
Yeah.
because, Yuri Lowenthal did all of those voices.
Yep. Every single one.
Okay.
I don't think of who I would voice at this point.
Okay. In real, I want to voice any of the characters in Strange Journey just to give them more voice lines.
Commander Gore.
Like, no, except for Gore. Gore's too badass to get a voice by me.
Honestly, I would want to voice, like, it doesn't matter the game, just whatever your big final persona is to win the game. Like,
Okay,
yeah,
so-
Satanael from spoil, Satanael from 5. I want to voice that, like, it's on, bitches! I'm gonna cap you in the fucking ass, you asshole!
If
Well,
you
I
voice
mean-
the final persona, that means you voice the protagonist because they always have the same voices.
Fuck it, sure.
Oh man, funny. Speaking of, the only time in P5 you actually get a protagonist speak.
Yeah, that's true. Protagonist speaks a lot in Persona 5. A lot. Fun fact, the protagonist from Persona 5 also is the announcer from Super Smash Bros. Currently.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Or at least he was for Smash 4. I don't know. He might be for Smash Ultimate. Whichever the current Smash is. But yeah. The more you know. So I think that's it for the trope talk, huh? We've gone in...
Actually,
You got more? One more.
I do. One more. Because, as you can now realize, this is even my final form!
Oh my god.
Like we boss with multiple forms, and
Yeah.
that's a trope in most RPGs. You always know the final boss usually doesn't have one form. You beat it, another form comes out, and another form comes out, and another form comes out. What was the game that really defined that, where a boss just had like so many damn forms that you're just like,
Final
can you?
Fantasy
Persona
6?
3.
Which one?
Persona 3, because
Persona 3, it was literally the same boss, just different phases.
Different faces, the same boss. Yeah, I don't count that. It just changes up the moveset. I mean,
Yeah.
the boss actually changes in like
Final
how it
Fantasy
looks.
6, Kefka. Kefka had, I believe, 4 or 5 forms.
The second to last boss of P5.
Second to last boss.
Yes, the villain, the human villain. He has like 3 forms, if I recall correctly.
Yeah. Alright, spoilers for Persona 5. If you're watching me do my run through of Persona 5 right now, cover your ears or something. I don't know. But Cheeto has 3 forms. No, 4 forms.
4 forms. There we go. Yeah.
He has a
lion chair, and then a pyramid, and then a flying lion, and then he just...
buff
This
Cheeto.
This Brolic version of him. He's like,
But then one more where he's all Red Hulk.
Yeah, but that's still technically the same. It's just he's red because he has butt look.
yeah. So like I remember he had. I was like, wait, how does he get so many forms and the final boss doesn't?
because at that point they knew we would be super frustrated fighting another boss with 6 forms. And I mean, the final boss technically has 4 phases or so.
It has 2 forms. It has the ha ha ha, I'm going to trick you form where you can't actually beat me. Then the ha ha ha, no, I actually have the real form and I do random stuff based on how many arms I got.
Yep. So, it's still... Final bosses always have multiple forms. Even Lavos had about 2 or 3 forms in Chrono Trigger.
Lavos had... first form had, 9 to 10 phases. Because it had a phase for every area you go through in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Then after you beat that, you fight the second form, which could regenerate its body parts, and then after you beat it, then it had the third form. So it had 3 forms, 9 phases, like 9 to 10 phases.
We love Chrono Trigger.
I only remember this because I played this damn game so much. I remember how many damn phases it has.
Oh, I didn't know you played Chrono Trigger.
Oh no, of course not. What are you talking about? What's a Chrono Trigger?
Let's see. I think one that kind of stuck out to me, and okay, it wasn't like actually 2. One was a transformation. The other was like, wait, how are you not done? But let's see. The first one, Tekken 3, because this whole game was about taking out this thing called Ogre.
Oh my gosh, I hate Ogre.
And it was this whole thing, and this thing could like steal people's moves from like the older games, which is why they weren't there. Like he either beat them all or killed them all.
Killed them. He did something.
He killed half and beat the shit out of the rest.
Yeah.
So which is why there's like all these new people. But then he beat his first form, and then he'll grab the sub boss, either Heihachi or Jin, depending on who you're playing. Quote, absorb them, and then he would turn into true Ogre.
Yeah,
who can fly, breathe fire, has a snake arm that can stun you.
It's like literally turns into a demon bat. He goes from Shrek, he goes from Aztec Shrek to a bat demon, and it's wild.
Yeah,
like I don't know, 10-year-old me playing this. This is one of the games I played with my dad when I was a kid. When like in the summer, we would play fighting games all day. Tekken 3. And getting to the boss, and 10-year-old me with my little baby fingers didn't know how to connect moves. So I picked Eddie Gordo.
Oh yes,
out of him. Oh yes, cheapest character of them all at the time.
Spam character. You just press buttons and he does random kick stuff.
But beating him enough times got you the secret character. Gone. Who was a little dinosaur with boxing gloves, and he farts on you.
He was one of the guest characters.
Yes, he was a guest character. One of the first. Yeah.
He was so annoying because I don't know, I kept like not knowing how to, because I don't know, my silly ass at that age was like all my moves aren't hitting. What's happening? I have to do like forward triangle with Jin to beat him because it punches down. I can't grab him. What's happening? But yeah, the other one that stuck out. And again, this is a spoiler for Judgment, the Yakuza spinoff.
Okay. Well, only Judgment 2 just came out. The sequel just came out.
It did, and it's wild. Like it's like I beat the game weeks ago, and I'm still playing the minigames and the side stories because there's so much. There's so much packed into this game. I love it. But anyway, the final boss, the mole, as you'll know him. I'm not going to spoil who it is, but the first fight, it's just him in a suit, and that's it. And it's rough, but you can deal with it. And then the second fight that happens later, when it's like, oh, it's all revealed, it's all on the table. This is happening. It's like, okay, it has everything. It has the big dynamic intro that the Yakuza games are famous for. It has it all. And then you beat that. You punch him out of a window. And that should be it. But no, he actually hung on. And in this hospital, he grabbed, I honestly think, an EpiPen or an adrenaline shot or something. he just hits up with that, and you see him like scream bloody murder as his health recharges to full, and I'm like, are you fucking with me right now? And now it's even crazier. So it's not like a whole transformation, but it's still like we're not done. Come on, man! I'm so tired. Oh, I just remembered. Sunny.
Yes, sir.
Kingdom Hearts 2. Xemnas.
Which
That was
trope,
like
which trope are we talking about with Xemnas?
Oh yeah, it's the final forms. Final boss Xehanort.
no, not Xehanort, Xemnas, and it's like 6 forms.
Didn't Xehanort also have like a bunch of forms as well?
Um,
Like the whole final battle was like you fight him as on the throne a few times. Then
that's
you fight.
Xemnas. That's Xemnas. I mean,
Oh,
they're
that's Xemnas.
technically
Okay.
the same person, but it's Xemnas. Xehanort, Heartless, aka Handsome, had 4 forms in the first Kingdom Hearts, 4 or 5 forms, and Xemnas had 5 or 6 forms, and one of them was a fun little mini game where you rode a light cruiser thingy in
For the
space.
dragon.
A flying motorcycle out of nowhere.
Yes, and you had to fight a dragon fortress thing. Nobody.
It literally felt. I was like, we all knew he was on some drugs for that final boss.
It was.
Yeah. Because okay. So for those of you watching, here it is for Kingdom Hearts 2. You fight this dude, and then you beat that dude, and then he vanishes after saying "screw you all," and then but then turns out he's not gone, and then you fight him again where he's throwing a whole city at you, like just whole buildings, just chucking them at you. You're fine. You cut through them like.
But it's okay
like
because
butter.
Sora's the chosen one, and he just slices with a giant blunt key blade. To
For some reason, out of nowhere, he can do this now. But whatever. And also, if you didn't get it before, now he can fly. Just independent of you, he can fly now.
True flight.
Yes, for some reason. But anyway, so you fight like this giant ship thing. You go in there. He's in an armor on this chair. You beat that, and then he's like, screw you all again, and then he vanishes. But no, he didn't vanish. He teleported to this other dragon thing. So you fight that, then you beat that, but then you have to fight the dragon thing and the armor form again, and then you beat that, and it's like, okay, now we're done. No, because now you gotta fight him, but he had like a palette swap in his clothes. Now it's all white and black, and ooh, watch out. And then
Sith.
And what?
No, he's a Sith. He's a Sith Lord.
Sure, whatever.
He had 2 red lightsabers. He's a Sith Lord.
It's true. They were lightsabers.
He literally
It's true.
He had 2 red lightsabers. Literally, that's what it was. He was a Sith Lord. And this is more what I said, that Kingdom Hearts 2 predicted Disney buying Star Wars.
Yeah. And what kills me, the first time I fought all this, I was like, me and my brothers were supposed to be going to church. And I had to like speed run this because long story short, my mother doesn't play that shit in any concept. So
I feel like when it comes to church, black moms don't do that.
They don't. So it was. So she's like, okay, are we? So it's like, are you ready? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm brushing my hair. Come on. And then again, another form. I'm like, come on, I can't keep doing this. Like the moment I beat regular Xemnas, I mean like final form Xemnas, I just hit pause. I will watch the ending when I get home. All I knew was for 2 hours in church, I was sitting there like, yeah, I beat Xemnas. Yay, God. It was like,
and on that blasphemy note, I think we're done today.
I mean, Yeah, it's been 2.5 hours. I think we can call it here.
Yeah. So, what is our next episode?
2 weeks. That's
Join
cool.
us next time to see if King Crazy goes to hell for his blaspheming ways.
Ooh. I think I'm gonna rate out.
Okay, and wait, just to make sure, what's the topic for next week? I mean,
It's
2 weeks from now.
Part 2 of this, the movie edition.
pretty much, yeah. We're gonna do movie tropes. Like I said, this is part of the series. Overused tropes. We'll see things that we've probably already heard in this episode, like the chosen one, because there's a chosen one trope for literally every medium possible. There's a chosen one for books, there's a chosen one for movies, there's a chosen one for music, probably.
No.
We're not doing a music one, by the way. Just
Yeah, no, I do music one. I'll pass on that.
so. Oh heck. Anyway, I just thought of something that we didn't do today, but that's cool. Anyway, so
The chosen one for movies is Betty White. Done.
That's TV.
No, Betty White does movies.
Betty White. The only movie I've seen Betty White in was the one with a giant alligator. Lake Placid. Anyway, so let me get those raid messages up. That's the raid message for non-subscribers. That's the chaotic raid message that some of y'all like for subscribers. And that's the cute one. I don't know which one y'all want to pick. If you even want to do a raid message, we don't have to. But it's a nice little way to engage with other streamers. So
And who would you be rating to?
I am rating. Who am I rating? I'm gonna rate Luna Moth because she's been pretty cool to me, and I want to be cool to her.
Cool.
Okay. Before we do the whole raid thing, I want to thank every single person who came in. Thanks to the chatters, thanks to the lurkers, thanks to King Crazy and Dracon for putting up with me, coming here every 2 weeks or so to talk about random crap. Y'all are real ones.
We put up with each other, let's be honest.
I expect my check in the mail.
All right. I will send you a check mark in the mail.
I accept cash or money order.
I will give you $5.
I also accept souls.
I will buy you a copy of Dark Souls.
Not the souls I was looking for. That soul already left.
Okay. So, again, thanks y'all. Y'all are cool people. I appreciate y'all. Make sure you eat properly, hydrate, sleep when you need to sleep. Don't push yourselves. And if it's getting colder for me here, so if it's getting colder for you, make sure you take it easy. It's a lot easier to get sick around this time of year, so
treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
Okay. And in the words of Accident of King Crazy to end, if it's that cold out there, it's ice, baby.
Really?
A King
Really?
Crazy comment. We're good.
Bye, y'all.
Wash your ass.
Of course, you had to end with that.